Hey guys, DJ from PTA. Hey guys, I've been taking a little time off from the trading. Market's really just been down and really just been all over the place. So, with everything collapsing and falling, I've been very particular on trading, as well as with life and different other things. Kind of take me away from the desk. So, getting back in the swing of things, found a great play on September 29th that definitely needed to take advantage of, definitely needed to make that play. Didn't follow through as much as I would like, but it was still a win. But right now, the way the market is and just how everything is, it's like you got to take these small wins, these 20, 30, 40 cent moves because there's just really no liquidity. There's no volume in the markets right now. Some of the major caps, if you're shorting the SPY, you're shorting the bigger names, you finding plays like that. But here in the small cap world, it's just been, you taking the plays as you can and see which ones actually make sense, which ones are actually going to play out the way that you think, and then being able to cut your losses quickly is another name of the game. So Adtx, this is a previous runner, as you could see back in. It actually ran back in September 13th, and then we had a nice flush on the 14th. So one of them stocks that just really don't hold its gains, but when you do see a quick pop, which was on this day with some excessive volume, it became something to talk about, something that people were talking about in the discords, as well as just on different forums. So I do monitor other discords as well as ours, and just to see what other people are talking about. And if I see a name that's out there, people talk about, or there's a lot of eyes on it. Eyes means volume. Volume means potential price play. So, in particular, when it came to this particular stock, um, I wasn't looking for anything super fancy or anything. I was looking for something that might have been, uh, ideal for a push up, but nothing that would necessarily hold or anything like that. And the only reason I say that is just because I just didn't see it. The market just hasn't been giving us, clean plays. I do check everything daily, but if I don't see something that's worth really talking about, I really don't do a video on such. But guys, you're always welcome to put in the Discord or even in the comments of a video that, hey, I want to see this. Hey, I want you to break down this trade or whatever, and I'll be glad to do it. So I want to go over the SPY real quick just so you guys can kind of see, if you haven't been keeping up with the SPY, this is just really just where it's at. Things have been falling. Things have been collapsing. And as you can see from our general lines from way back when, I told you that if we doesn't get over this area, this will be a great short. So those who shorted at 433 still holding are doing well. And then we got this bounce, which was previous week high, bounced into that 396 area, and then it literally retested 396 and flushed. And now we're seeking new lows. So this, if you go back to some of my videos months back, I kept telling you guys that this market is not on an uptrend. This is simply a bounce for people getting out, setting up for the bigger fall. And I was waiting for that collapse here, that low of 362. I knew it was going to happen. I can see it. And the market just was there. So a lot of people just off that price action right there. I mean, if you go back and just look at the last couple of days, you can see the setup. So if you were playing this low, let's say you was just a person that's starting off trading and you're learning about support and resistance. Well, this was a clear support at 361.71, right? So if we take a look at those particular days, I just want to kind of go in this so you can kind of see the last couple of days. You can see how it just kept coming in this area, bounced off of it, kept coming in this area, bounced off of it. It did it again, but didn't bounce as high. You can see the downward trend right there. So as you see that downward trend and it's respecting it, then you take a short here, break down, and then even if you took a short at the low, you can see right there at the low it just broke, came back, retest, So this is that break line retest, and then it faded into the later part of the day. So, even if you didn't know all the technicals and all those different things, if you just played it off the lines, you would have did well. And you're talking about a good, $9 or so move, because it was 361, 357. So it was a good $4 move down. So, you loaded up something heavy here and then added here, would have been a nice move down. So, like I said, guys, this is not. We're not in a bear market. I mean, we're not in a bull market. We're in a bear market. We have always been in a bear market. So when I see any type of bounces or anything like that, and those who follow me on the Discord, these are people who follow and have this information. We talk about this. I talked about this many videos ago of that this is a bounce, and if we did not break this trend line, that it was a short. So a lot of people took shorts here, and they're dancing right now because we're down here at 357. So if you took a short back in August, mid-August, you're doing very, very well. All you had to do is hold, because like I said, we're playing it off the lines. When they broke and recap and then drop down like this, that's just a devastating drop. That's just what it is. And the market is showing that. It has been showing that. And like I said, we had this nice little bounce and people took a rally here. But my biggest thing was this outer line. If we don't crack that, we're just going to go lower. And as you can see, go back again, guys. Go back to the old videos that they all say it on YouTube. Free information. If you had seen this here when I spoke about this back in August, mid-August, and you took a short, you would have been doing very well right now. All right, so let's go back to Adtx, where we really came to talk about. The Adtx is one of those moves where, we had a nice little bounce, and then it came into on this day on September 29th. Now, on September 29th, again, guys, it was one of those days where, things weren't really moving. It wasn't a lot of volume, wasn't a lot of liquidity or anything like that, but I had to play it off the areas. So if you can take a look at this chart, this is the wedge. So the wedge was really coming from September 26th. So we draw a line just like this, and then you can see here where it was holding this trend line here. This was our this was our first break. So breaking into it, taking off, this became our new A. Once the stock stopped and fell, the first thing I started looking for is an area that it's going to respect. Normally I go back out and I look into the hour, 2 hour, different things like that to kind of get an idea of what's going on. I look at the higher time frames to get an idea of where that area is. So mine was about 370. So the reason I use 370, if you go down here to the 30 minute, 15 and 5, you can see that it just kind of respected that area. Let's go down to the 15. Right here, when it rejected and then it came back up, they made it a good area to get in. So when I got in, got in based off of the 5 and the 1 in conjunction with the 2. What I kept seeing is that this area here at 390 was being respected. So I'm going to draw these as purple, just so y'all know that these intraday supports. This was an intraday support, and it was holding it pretty nice. Now, if we go back and look at, and now that's intraday support. Now, if we go back to the daily, this is why you do the study and to see these type of things. I'm gonna redraw the 390 and 370 area here. I'm gonna redraw that later, but I want y'all to see this. See these areas here. I always like to draw the tops where it broke down from. It broke down from there. This was a good area here, and then previous week at 467. So when I saw these areas, I knew this might have been a quick snipe, but I wanted to see exactly where we was gonna be at. And then this one here, right there as well. So let's break this down into a 5-minute again. So as you can see, 363 kind of played as that key area, which was off of the other area. So, you know, if you take a look at this, let's go back to the daily. See this low, this was 415. I mean that that high. Open price 415. And then this one was 467. This was 415. This was 367. So let's see that high. Yeah, 367. So we go 367. So when I zoom in on the 5-minute, what you start to see is that right here was acting as a zone. It became a supply zone, now turned into a demand zone. So at this point, I knew where my area was. I wanted to get as close as 367 as possible with a different type of risk. So when I was looking at this and I kind of played it, I look at it and say, okay, just respect to this area, coming back up. I'm noticing on the tape that 390 is a critical area. Remember, I'm going to paint that purple for entry day. So this is your bigger screen or bigger time frame area of interest. You see that it came back and respected. This was letting me know that it wanted to go higher. This was letting me know it wanted to go higher. And this was letting me know that this is where they're going to trap everybody at. So when I saw it do 1, 2, I drew what you would call your ABCD pattern like this. Just so I give you guys a visual on how this would look out. So right here, this became my A. Remember, this 390 was being respected. And then this became my B, and this became my C. So once it came back up and pulled back, this was the double confirmation I needed because I was waiting because of the price action. I end up sliding in at about 381. So this is going to be painted green to show you my entry. So when I got in, was right around here. So let's go back to the 1 minute. I can tell you exactly what candle it was. Yep, 381 right there. About 10:45, I got in at 381 with a risk to here, 375. So I literally had about, I would say about a 5-7 cent risk. I was willing to come back here to 371, which would have been about 10 cents. So the range wasn't really there. I was looking for a 10 cent, and I said, okay, I'm gonna load up here. So I loaded in pretty heavy right here at 381 with a 371. Because of the amount of shares, I was really looking at more like a 374, something like that. And what happened is it pulled back up as if it was gonna go. And then it started to do this sideways thing, and then it hammered. But then this buy signal came in, it pulled it down, and then it bounced. So once I got in here, I just pretty much put my stop loss back here, which was, I think, right here. I think it was 372. Because I only had about an 8-10 cent risk because of the amount of shares I had. I had loaded up pretty heavy. And my account only allowed me to have so much of a risk. And it was about 8 to 10 cent, give or take. So I probably would have took the 10 cent because at that point I felt it would have just cracked and kept going. I knew that the 367, 363 was playing as a zone. So I was comfortable with that once it had pulled away. I jumped in at 381. It pulled up, and this was off of the level too. 381 was a large wall at 380. So I kept seeing it going up there, going up and chipping it away. So I jumped into 381, got a good feel. And the amount of shares I had, I actually had a really good feel on that. It popped up to 394, pulled back down to 378, 376, and then it just rallied. So once it took off and got over to 390, and I saw this sharp candle, and it started to do this, that's when I started loading out. So a lot of my shares I got off at like 408, 410, different areas like that. But ultimately, I knew when it did this big jerk move with some volume, get me wrong, wasn't no volume, but it wasn't like the last jerk move as far as the volume goes. So I knew, there was some stuff being taken here because you can see how the volume was much greater here than this move here. So I knew overall that, they might have want to take this stock lower. I just didn't know how it was going to squeeze or how it was going to look. So the 381, so to kind of give you an idea, the 381 move kind of came off of this. Because I like to play off of some type of line. That's just the way I trade. I like to play off of some type of line, some type of area of interest or whatever. So, 381, it's looking like, okay, I can get here. It pulled back, and then it just kind of took off. One of the biggest things was that the patience, waiting for the play to play out, because you got to look. I got in at 381. That was 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30-minute wait before the actual move. So I was confident in it, and I was just going to let it play out because at the point in time where everything was looking, it had already rotated its float, something ignorant. So at this point, I just kind of knew that it was just a matter of time before they kind of blew the top. So when they blew the top here, it shot up really fast, but the sheer volume on this uptrend on this side just didn't match. You should see an equivalent or something greater than the previous uptick or up move. So when I saw that the shorts they were not really participating, I tried to get in as close as I could to the break even point or whatever off the trend. I tried to get in as close as I could, and then which gave me about, like I said, about 7 or 8 cent risk, and then it took off. And I mean, once it took off, it shot from 381 up to 4s. But again, it's one of those things where it's like probably could have been a better play. But the reason why I knew, just because the sheer volume that was creeping in just wasn't exceeding what had happened before. So I was looking for a stall out around 415. We got it at 412, and then it pulled back. So this is how you kind of use confluence on multiple things that's happening at one time to make sure that you get into a really good trade and take advantage of it. Some people look at it like that. Some people don't. A few traders took it off the top and did well. But the biggest thing is making sure you understand the direction of where the stock wants to go, what it's thinking, what it wants to do, and just paying attention to the price action. Level 2 helps out a lot as well. All right, guys, if you have any questions, concerns, leave it in the comment section. Click that like button, hit that subscription button and that notification bell so you don't miss any of our videos. Make sure you jump into our free Discord. Plenty of great information, great traders in there alike. And like I tell all old traders and new,